Hi, thanks for coming back. I'm Sam, the athletic trainer here at Johns County Community College, back with Tyler to help us out, and we got Richie on the camera. And in our first video in this series, we talked a little bit about the importance of positions and being able to hold those positions as they relate to prevent an injury in certain sports. And if you recall, go ahead and squat down for me, Tyler. The first video we talked a little bit about getting down in a deep squat position, how important that can be for not only catchers and certain positional players in other spring sports, but just in general what that does and what that tells us about the movement ability and the mobility of the hips. Somebody asked a good question: what happens if you can't get into that position? Well, squat down for me again, Tyler. If you're like Tyler, if you can get into that position but it's slightly uncomfortable, then you just spend time in that position. Let your body adapt to it and just hold that position for a couple minutes here and there until you've built up the ability to do that. But if you can't get into a good, clean, squatted position, then there are some good stretches that we can walk through that Tyler's going to show us here right now. So go ahead and get down in that first position here, Tyler. This first position is just a nice easy stretch on the hamstring. Take the quad out of the equation on the other side and you'll see that he's stretching the hamstring on his left side. If you really wanted to emphasize hamstring and take out the low back, I could have him sit up a little taller and just lean forward without arching his lower back. But you feel it in your hamstring, right? So he's feeling the stretch. Hold that position for 30 to 40 seconds, maybe up to a minute, depending on how tight you are, how much of a release you need to get. Go ahead and move into that second position for me. This next one, it typically referred to as a runner stretch. It helps us stretch out that hip flexor. This one's really a muscle that gets real tight in a lot of athletes, so not just pitchers and catchers and baseball players. Anyone that uses their hips, this muscle can tend to get tight. Tyler's probably feeling a stretch right through here. If I wanted him to get a little bit more out of this, I'd have him get that chest up, keep one hand down, get this one out of the way, and really work on pressing that hip down towards the floor. Well, you're tight. So what Tyler can do is he can just pulse and drop his hip down and relax a couple times until he can get into a pretty good pelvic position there. If I wanted to be a nice guy, I could intensify the stretch by getting his quad up for him, getting a little stretch on the thigh, and then ask him to pulse that hip flex. You feel that? Yeah, that's a pretty good stretch. That's another one that's good to help out. Go ahead and throw your leg down in front of you, that pigeon over in front. This one, if you've ever seen yoga poses, this is called pigeon. Get this back leg a little straighter and go ahead and lay down on top of that thigh. This one will really stretch out the external rotators of the glute group on the back side of the hip. Those three right there are pretty good, but we've got one more we're going to have Tyler show us. Go ahead and get into that wide straddle position or that half split. And this is the one that most people do not enjoy. You'll feel a pretty intense stretch up high in the groin there. What you want to be careful of here is to make sure you're not putting a lot of pressure on the knee capsule on the inside of the knee. So if you're feeling a lot of too much pressure or too much stretch here, you can just sit back and rotate the toes up. That'll take some pressure off that and get that on medial hamstring, adductor group, and all the muscles high up in the thigh. Feeling pretty good? Good. Go ahead and stand back up. And those are just some simple ways that can help you loosen up one side. And if Tyler wanted to walk through those on the other side, you can go ahead and squat down for me. About a minute each stretch or so on each side, and you'll find that you can probably get down in a little deeper position, a little more comfortable. You feel a little better? Actually, yeah. We're going to continue with this series. Maybe next time we'll come back and follow up with a what to look for if you're trying to do any kind of conditioning or strengthening in these extreme positions, and what can happen when you're carrying the weight under load at these positions, and how important getting into good, clean, quality positions are. Till next time, continue to check back on our Johns County Community College Athletics YouTube page and see all the current videos, and we look forward to seeing you next time.